Hello again, guys and girls, the Gears of War community. Welcome back to another Gears of War 3 gameplay commentary. So, in my last commentary, I mentioned a few things like some of the news that had been announced for Gears of War Judgment and how that would affect competitive Gears, and how that it's not looking very bright for competitive Gears in the future, just because Gears of War Judgment doesn't really have enough variety and options for the competitive community to thrive. And I basically just said how that with only 4 game modes, there's only 2 of them which are viable. That was Overrun, or there's only 2 of them which would be a possibility, and that would be Overrun and Domination. And I mentioned that I would talk about Overrun in my next commentary, which is this commentary. And basically, so yeah, I want to talk about how Overrun just doesn't look like it could work. I mean, at its core, I'm gonna say that it's a good idea. It works. It could work well. It could be really good, but there's just a few things that people, or the developers rather, have overlooked that I want to just share with you guys and get you guys thinking about a little bit. Now, just before I continue, I just want to quickly mention the gameplay. It was a scrim full team -1, so that basically means we had 3 of our team with a pickup against another full team, I believe. Or I'm almost certain it's another full team on their team, because it was like 4 of the people I've seen play together before, so, I'm almost certain it was a full team. But anyway, so back onto subject, Overrun. Okay, so Arctic has done, or Arctic and the gang have done their little take on why Overrun won't work, and that is mainly the spectator mode. And basically, if you haven't heard this, I'll do a quick explanation for you guys. Because the game mode, in their opinion, we haven't played it obviously, but in their opinion, it doesn't work other than 5v5. If it's not 5v5, it's not fun. It's not fun to play and it's not fun to watch, because it's a game mode which has a lot of variety, and you need a lot of different options and a lot of diversity in your team to succeed. And if you only have 4 if you only have 4 players instead of 5, then your team won't be diverse enough to make a push or to hold it off and things like that. And it just makes it more difficult to watch. Now, if they were to have 5v5, that means that the game wouldn't be able to have a spectator in, and without a spectator, competitive just dies, because at LAN it might possibly work. You might be able to hook all the monitors up and all the consoles up to one computer and then stream each one individually, or have a stream where you can pick them and say, alright, now we'll change to that guy. But it's a lot easier with a spectator. But online, it's impossible. It's almost impossible to have a tournament and stream it, because you'd have to have at least one player in every single team be able to stream it, so that you could stream every single match, because you wouldn't be able to go in there and spectate it and stream it yourself. And also that takes a lot of the way takes away a lot of the variety. You don't get to see a full team, you just get to see one player. So that's the main problem. But there are a few I think Arctic and the crew haven't really noticed, and here's a few things. So, if you go to an event, you have to think about the diversity problem between Overrun and Domination. So, at its heart, if you have 5v5, there's almost no chance that any team will do a 5v5 Domination. So, that's just one basic thing. Okay, you cannot have 5v5 Domination and 5v5 Overrun, because people just won't want to play it. Standard Gears works best at 4v4. Obviously, we haven't played Gears of War Judgment, but going from Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, Halo series, Call of Duty, all console shooters have been 4v4 at their heart when they play basic, symmetrical game types like Team Deathmatch, Domination, other game types, where it's just fair play, where it's down to whoever's got the most skill, not you know, strategy-wise like you have in Overrun. That's why Overrun would be more viable to have a 5v5, but domination, it's unlikely that it will happen. So that's the very basic thing. You won't be able to have domination and Overrun at the same event. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you have to play either Dom or you play Overrun. And that splits up the community quite a lot. So if Overrun is more viable than domination and people want to play Overrun, well, that completely exiles most of the community who play things like team deathmatch and domination and free for all. Because if you play either team deathmatch or free for all, but you don't play domination, you can relate to people who play domination because it's basically the same thing but with a different objective. While Overrun, not so much. So if you were to play Overrun, you would exile all the people who play Domination. If you were to play Domination, you exile all the people who play Overrun, you know, and vice versa. So that's the big major problem. You split the community in two because people don't really want to watch something that they don't really understand or they don't play a lot. Like, a lot of people, if you were to go into a game of Gears and, you know, play something like Team Deathmatch all day, you go on Twitch, you want to watch something, and you see someone streaming Horde, you're just going to ignore it, aren't you? And that's just the basic idea of it. If you're not interested in something like Horde, you're just not going to go for it. So that's a big thing. Another thing is, at an event, if you try and have the both of them at the same time, it just, like, if you were to try and have two separate events, like, well, not two separate events, but you have to have, like, Overrun tournament and then, Domination tournament, then when you try and run them both, you would have to split the competitive community a little bit more. So that's another major problem. It splits out the competitive community in itself. And then here's the big thing. So if you say, well, suck it up and stick Dom and Overrun together, then we have one final problem. If you finally get all the kinks out of Overrun, you say, right, that's it, okay, let's just stick Overrun and Dom together and have a tournament with it. You know, maybe you have 5v5 domination instead of just 4v4. Everybody sucks up. You know, they like Dom 5v5 and it kind of works. Okay, so you go to an event. You have to accept that they're both very different game modes like we've discussed earlier. But this is the major problem because when you go into an event, you have to do best of 5, best of 3, best of 7 for each and every match. You know, you have to do something like that and it has to be odd. So when you play best of 5 or best of 3, so let's just say you play best of 5, you have to have more of one game type than the other. And this tends to be consistent throughout all games. So if you were to look at Gears of War 3, there was always more execution than there was King of the Hill. And because of the difference between the two games, the two game modes, if you were to have a best of 5 with 2 overruns and 3 dominations, and that would basically be consistent throughout the entire tournament, you would find that teams would simply ignore Overrun. They wouldn't practice for it that much. Maybe they go on it every now and again, learn a few strats, learn what kind of characters to play. But the fact is that people would ignore it and they wouldn't play it and they would just stick to learning domination, and maybe a team wants to learn Overrun and they learn it and they're amazing at it. They're the best Overrun team in the world. They don't win squat because they get destroyed by the teams who know Overrun, because that's all that matters. Because, yeah, you can win 2 maps because you're amazing at Overrun, but they win 3 maps because they're amazing at Dom and they win the match. It just makes it incredibly difficult for the community to fall under one banner if you to have Overrun in competitive. And this is just another major aspect of the game that Epic and I don't know what kind of input people can have into multiplayer. I don't think that they have none like some people believe, but they definitely have something. But Epic and People Can Fly, they haven't really thought about this. They haven't really thought, oh yeah, well, we're going to make Overrun competitive, and they haven't really thought what that would do to the community. So, unless the entire community decided to go under one banner and all play Overrun because it's the best thing ever, or all play Domination, then we have a massive problem from now on. And this is yet another thing that I haven't thought about, and which is just destroying our community, because they just don't seem to want to listen to us anymore, you know? It seems like when they brought they brought the pros up to Epic, it seems like it was a publicity stunt to keep the hardcore fans silent and things, saying, oh yeah, but we brought the pros up and we took their advice, and it was just like, well, did you really? I mean, maybe you changed one tiny thing which they mentioned just to make them think that they had an input, but the fact is, we've asked for so many things throughout the Gears of War 3 time cycle, and you've changed maybe one or two of them, just because it doesn't really make that big of a difference. But at the end of the day, it just seems like they don't want to listen to us anymore. And I know this is a kind of depressing commentary, and I don't really like doing these kind of things, but this is kind of the state I'm at. Like, up until a few weeks ago, I was really confident for this game, but I'm losing my confidence every single day. But yeah, I hope they come up with a new game mode. I hope they sit there and they say, right, well, you know, maybe we can't meet it on release, but, you know, let's get a bomb-type game mode out a month after release or something like that, and that would be huge for the community. But right now, not so much. Anyway, guys, I hope I didn't dampen your spirits too much, but if you enjoy the commentary, please leave me a like. If you really enjoy my videos, then please subscribe for more. But for now, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye.